Hello students, in this video I will teach you accounting treatment of bills of exchange when bill receivable is endorsed to the creditor. Let us take an example. Suppose there are two parties A and B. A is drawer and B is drawee. Suppose on 1st January 2020, A has sold goods to B. We have sold goods to B. Now B is our debtor. You know, debtors are our assets, and when an asset increases, we debit it. That's why B account is debited here. To sales. Sales is a revenue for us, and when we receive any revenue or any income, we credit it. So the journal entry is B account debit to sales. On the other hand, in the books of B, purchase account debit. Purchase is an expense. That's why it is debited here. For B, it is purchases. So purchases account debit to A. On the same date, A drew a bill which was accepted by B. For A, it is bill receivable. Bill receivable is an asset. So bill receivable account debit. When we are receiving an asset, asset is increasing. That's why bill receivable account debit to debtor. Here the name of debtor is B. So bill receivable account debit to B. In the books of B, A debit, we are making payment to our creditor. When we pay to our creditor, creditor will reduce. And you know the rule of liability, when liability decreases, we debit the liability account. So A's account debit to bills payable. Now suppose on January 4th, we have endorsed this bill receivable to our creditor Z. So the entry will be Z debit to bill receivable at the time of endorsement of bill, 10,000. Z debit to bill receivable. Z was our creditor, and you know, when we pay to our creditor, creditor reduces. That's why Z is debited here, and bill receivable is going out. This asset is decreasing. That's why bill receivable is credited. So Z debit to bill receivable. For this transaction, there will be no entry in the books of B. Now, the books of Z will be prepared. Z books. Bill receivable account debit. Bill receivable is an asset for Z to A, 10,000. He is receiving bill receivable from his debtor A. So bill receivable account debit to A. On due date, Z will present this bill to the B, and B will pay this amount to Z. On due date, B will make payment of his liability. BP to bank. The journal entry will be bills payable debit. Bills payable is a liability, you know, for B. So when we are paying our liabilities, we debit it. Bills payable debit to bank. On the other hand, this amount will receive by Z now. Cash account debit to bill receivable. No entry will be passed in the books of A because the amount received on due date by Z only. Now next point, when bill receivable is sent to bank for collection, what will be the journal entries? Let us understand. Suppose on due date, this bill was written for 3 months. Suppose the due date of bill is April 4. A has sent this bill receivable to bank for collection. The journal entry will be bills sent for collection account debit. A new account will be opened. To bill receivable 10,000. And no entry will be passed in the books of B for this transaction. Bills sent for collection debit to BR. BR is going out, that's why it is credited. And a new account, bills sent for bank, is debited here. On due date, on the same date, bank will present the bill to the B and B will pay the amount to the bank. And bank will inform us that bank has received the amount from B and bank has credited in our account. We will pass the entry bank account debit. Our bank balance is increasing now. So bank account debit to bill sent for collection 10,000. In the books of B, for the payment of bills payable, BP to bank, simple entry will be passed in his books 10,000. So this is the way how to pass journal entries in the books of drawer and drawing for bills of exchange.